Okay, g'day. So I'm in the actual bush and I'm in actual Humevale territory, so Humevale formation. And here we have one of my favourite plants, Banksia bottle brush. You see it's a bottle. This is a native plant in the area. Can't remember the actual scientific name. Obviously it has yellow flowers and it's very beautiful. You can see the leaves here. So the leaves have serrations, right? Where is it? They have serrations. Quite nice. So there's not too many of these plants around here, and these grow very tall, and it has a actual vine growing up around it, so that will use the actual plant as a structure. Then we have some bracken. It's quite nice. Actually, I don't know what most of these plants are. Here's wattle, species of wattle. This plant, not too sure what it is, but maybe I should brush up my information on native plants. Although there's lots of too much information to actually take in. So anyway, so I'm actually on the walking track, and on the walking track you can see quite a lot of rocks, and this is mainly just broken up pieces of Humevale formation. Some of it is partially rounded, some of it's very rounded, so this looks like river alluvium, so just a river deposit, because we actually have a creek down that way. Creek's just a very small stream, river, whatever. I'd say it's in between a stream and a river. Or maybe there's creek, stream, and then river. Yeah, I'd say that way. But this looks like Humevale formation. Most of it looks like mudstone, sandstone. So it is also quite eroded. And this is very fossil bearing, but if you want to get any fossils, you need to break it open. And also a lot of it's pretty hard. So it's been probably hardened by metamorphizing and also mineral alterations. You see, you do get a lot of bands of iron. And this looks like it's indurinated with iron, so that's probably the matrix that makes up the actual cementation, iron oxide. So if you want to break this, it's going to be very hard. And so you can see the actual soil. So a lot of this probably still has iron in it. Oh, look, ant. Hello, ant. You tickle. So, yeah, there's a lot of iron, a lot of magnesium, titanium. It's probably been tin, and that's probably been leached out. So you can see a lot of this is soil, so it has not been eroded away. Sorry, I'm not too familiar with the actual soil mineral analysis of this rock, so what I'm just doing is just have an educated guess. So up here with this soil, they actually grow a lot of crops, lots of potatoes, lots of food crops. They don't grow any wheat here. They do that out in the more flatter areas around, going around Ballarat Way and past that way. Yep. And that loud noise is a car you can hear. So this is the north side, so this is drier. A bit small. When it's smaller, they look cuter than when the plant's bigger. Nice flowers. This is one. Yeah, I don't feel any seeds in it. There's another one. Yeah. This bottle brush just loves the soil derived from the Humevale formation. Siltstone, you can see. If you see these structures, I'm not too sure. It could be like a form of a spider. Also, there's quite a few of them, so I'm wondering if these are cicadas. I can't confirm what it is because I'm not educated in that. But if you look on the trees, you see some cicadas. So the cicada will come out, crawl up on the tree, and molt. So it'll come out as an actual adult. Then it'll go up the tree, it will mate, lay eggs, then it'll pass away. No, but sometimes the actual exoskeleton would fall down, and you can find it on the ground floor. You can see this soil is quite red. So a lot of the minerals have probably been leached out. Probably wasn't mineral rich in the first place. So it would have to have minerals blown in through the atmosphere, land on there. So a lot of people don't know that a lot of the salt that we have is actually comes from the ocean, and a lot of this organic matter is a combination of water, the atmosphere, and the actual soil. Ink. You get a lot of skinks around here. Once again, you can see a lot of rounded rocks. These are pebbles. Looks like siltstone again. Well, that motorbike's very loud. Here's another one. When a rock's rounded like this, it's usually water action by a river. Generally, so when this river creek floods, you probably bring up a lot of material and deposit it. Okay, so as we have a lot of river alluvium here, so talking about the rounded rocks, we do have a lot of exposed boulders, so a lot of rocks like this. But the actual creek bed is probably at least 10 to 15 meters lower than this elevation. So what is going on here? Okay, so here's another rock. Maybe keep that as a sample. You can see a lot of river alluvium. There's probably also the rocks that are not rounded is probably just broken up material that's been eroded in place. So we've got two types of material. Material from the bedrock and material that's been deposited here. You're probably going, oh yeah, but how can it be? That river, creek, stream, whatever, is lower than this elevation. Well, you're talking about now. So there you go. Just going down here. So if we put it flat, you can see this is probably about 20 to 30 degree angle dip in that direction. Not geological dip because I can't find any formations. But, you know, I'm talking about 10,000, 100,000 years. Where was that creek? Where was that creek elevation placed? So, because we're higher than sea level, that creek's been eroding the rock down, so the creek is actually going lower. And also this material is also being eroded downhill. Eventually it all gets taken away by the actual river or used in the plants. And probably minor dispersal in the atmosphere. But 10,000 years, this would have had a higher elevation than it does now. 100,000, a million years, it would have been higher. Maybe like, I don't know, 5 million years, it had the equivalent elevation of this. But this material would have been high up as well, because there would have been rock here, especially probably a few kilometers up that way, up in the sky. But over 250, 300 million years, it's been eroded. Quite a lot of material has been eroded. So this is also dropping in elevation over time as well. So this material might have been placed, I don't know, like 100,000 years. So this is harder material to weather and erode than a lot of the other materials. So this has been, stay here, it's probably slowly weathering and breaking down, but not as fast as the actual other material. So I reckon that the actual rock here is a lot softer than this. So this takes probably 5 to 10 times longer. That's just a guess, because I don't know the strengths of both of the materials to, you know, break down. So as this place has been weathering and going down, this has actually been going down with it as well. So going down like that. And that's why that material is still here. A lot of the rounded material is the stronger material. So as the creek bed is actually being eroded down, this more, I would say more indurinated, so that has probably been iron concreted. So I don't even know the matrix that actually makes up the actual binding material of this rock. That information is very hard. You need to do like a chemical analysis and all that. I don't think anyone's ever done it. But so the lot stronger material is staying here. So here we have some soil. This looks like very soft soil. It's also a lot lighter in color. So this is probably the siltstone, and now it's just silt. It's been broken up, and as you can see, the animals don't have problems about boring into it. But I can't find any rock exposure except for the. Okay, here we have a large block. It doesn't look like it's been rounded by river action. So this is probably material that's a lot harder to break down, and it's also been taken down. So as the soil is eroded away, this is pretty much keeps dropping until it finally is broken down, weathered, and eroded away. So that's basically why it explains we have this rounded material, but the creek bed is quite a distance away. Even in a major flood, I don't think that there'll be enough water to actually come up here, because that requires quite a lot of water, and I don't think we actually get it in Victoria. It may rise, 2-3 meters, but not 10-15 meters, no. That's why when you're doing geology, or even if you're doing like study of biology, ecology, how all the plants interact, you need to take the past into account as well. You can't really take the future into account because that's in the future, but what we do know is that this will be eroded into the future. These plant species will change over time. Okay, so as we are actually getting lower down into the elevation, now you can see the actual creek there. So I actually don't know the name of that creek. I didn't actually research that far because I just come out for a drive. Saw this place on the map and decided to stop here. So sometimes when I do these videos, it's pretty much off the cuff because now I did look at the geological map, so I know that this is Humevale sandstone, mudstone, siltstone. So there's a lot of different materials that make up the Humevale. It does have a lot of fossils, but when you come here to a fallen down tree, so this is a burrow. You're probably wondering what burrow this is. This is actually probably a disused wombat burrow. Well, it could be used. So wombat, you can see it's quite large. It's actually probably about 30 to 40 centimeters long, wide. And it'll go underneath the actual hill. And it should connect to other burrows as well. And that's where wombats live. There's no other animal that's pretty big that does that here. So definitely a wombat. You can see the soil is actually quite thick. And now this dip is probably at least 45 degrees. So this will be eroding quite fast. And we have a lot of eucalyptus trees. Is that a yellow gum? Yellow box? I get confused between those. It looks a bit yellow anyway. Here we have a small little creek again, another one. Hey look, there's my wife. Okay, so this is quite steep and pretty dangerous, but if we can go down here, you can see a lot of boulders. This looks like quite dark material. Well, not looks like, it actually is. If we go over here, you can see the actual bedding planes of the actual material. It's pretty much almost 45-degree angle. Not 45, 90 degrees. So you got 45, 90. So pretty much 90. 45 will be like that. That's quite well faulted and folded. So this has probably been partially metamorphosed. So I would say it's been squashed and strengthened. That would add to the actual resistance. You can see the actual soil. Where am I going? Okay, the actual soil horizon, that's at least half a meter thick. So quite thick soil horizons. And if we go here, this is the actual bedrock. So this is the actual Humevale formation. It's actually quite hard. It does have fossils in it, but obviously you can't see any there. Yeah, looks like there might be a brachiopod there. Yeah, or it might be nothing. Okay, so we have a look at the actual creek. So you can see there's a lot of material. A lot of the large blocks, so that one there, quite angular, so it's been eroded in place. So a lot of these smaller blocks, so talking about that one there, is rounded. So it's probably been forced downstream, probably not far because it's too large. It needs a lot of water to do that. But it's also been rounded by the action of other rocks in the actual water going over it when it's in partial flood. So now it's probably a bit higher because we've had a lot of rain in the last week, which would have elevated the actual creek. But a lot of that water seems to have drained away now. You can see a lot of material in that creek as well. So if you're going to look for fossils, this is where I'll look for it, in this part here. But now you got at least 2 meter drop there into the actual water. So you got steps so you can jump down there. So when this was actually eroding, so that creek bed's eroding a lot faster than here, because you got the water, main water body. So that's why there's a pretty much a 45 to 90 degree angle cliff or hill slope. Anyway, I hope I'm not blabbering on. Wow. Concrete. So if you want to know an age of a tree, you have different tree rings. So you actually need to polish this to actually get a bit of detail. But safe to say this is trees quite a few decades old when it died. That's quite deep there, especially on this side where the water is actually eroding a lot quicker. And the material's been deposited on the other side of the actual creek. So this is actually a nice place to go and have a picnic or a day. You got free tables. Obviously, not many people actually coming here. So it's very quiet, apart from the road, which has a lot of motorbikes, because it's a Saturday. They do like to go brum brum, brum brum boy, motorbike boy. Okay, see, here we have a large boulder. And here we have the creek, but you can see material in the bottom, but on the sides is just soil. Here you go. So here we have a massive formation, so I don't see any type of structure in that. So this probably could have been deposited over a few years, a few different seasons. It could have been deposited all in one hit. I don't know. I wasn't there at the time. This has been fractured. You can see a lot of material here. Look what they've done. They made the steps out of the actual rocks. So you can probably find some fossils in that. And here we are looking downstream. So there's a little waterfall there. This probably gets knee deep. You can see the actual rock material. You look upstream, you can see more rock material. So this is probably the best place to actually look for fossils. Because all the eroded material has been taken away. But probably, so we have a La Nina now, so we have a lot more rain. Probably come when there's a El Nino, so when there's a lot less rain. And this creek will probably, after 2 or 3 years, will barely be running. So you have a lot easier access to the actual rocks there. Probably need a jackhammer just to break them open. Anyway, I'll leave it here because I've just run out of material to talk about.